Hi. Yeah, hey. Uh, Figured I'd do camera and forgot I was recording. Um, Why I love. I did one of these a long time ago, and somebody mentioned in my rant musing that they'd like to see this come back. So here we go. Um, I'm gonna get flack for this. I know I am. So bring it on. Why I love faction mixing. Yeah, it's here. Um, so so here's the thing. It's nothing against Faction Pure. It's nothing against Ship Pure. It's nothing against any of that. It is all about the what if. I want to see what would happen if anything was possible in the Star Trek universe. And that's it. That's the simplest explanation for what I'm doing. Now, I know that's not enough. And there's far more to it than that. But if you take a look at my Star Trek Adventures campaign, my captain, Denobulan Trill, I've got a Vorta, I've got a Bajoran, a Cardassian, I've got a Vulcan Borg, I've got a Vulcan Betazoid. These are what ifs. These are things that push the limits of not only the system, but of the mind. And that's where I feel that Star Trek is the best, when we are left exploring the situation that we're presented with. You see, the last thing I want in a game is to solve it, to figure out the best combinations, the best situations, and say, this, I know to play this all the time. And if I do that, I win. And now some can come back and argue that, well, David, you've said that, hey, warp jump is the problem. And if you play warp jump in the right way, with all these certain counters and such, you win. Well, yes, but it's been beaten. Let's not deny that it's been beaten. And it's a situation where there are counters. You see, here's the thing. In Faction Pure, you run out of counters a lot faster. Now, I won't deny that a lot of the new things look really good in Faction. Ferengi, as they bolster Independent, look fantastic. But in the same breath, there's a bird of prey that is Klingon Ferengi dual faction, which makes it Klingon and Independent and Ferengi, almost tri-faction. But since Ferengi's a sub-faction, it's essentially dual faction. You see, here's the thing. The show, yes, is about factions, cultures, but it's more than that. It's about working together. Star Trek is what happens when we put aside our differences and we work towards common goals. The Alpha Quadrant banded together against the Dominion and Cardassians. But it was a combination of the Federation, the Romulans, and the Klingons. And that wouldn't have been possible if they said, oh, no, 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 you're the Federation, you made this mess, you gotta lay in it. And the Klingons had their own issues. But we even see the Klingon Civil War. So who's to say that the Klingons were united amongst themselves? The Klingons are a combination of houses that work under one leadership most of the time. And the Romulans, well, you've got Romulans, you've got the Tal Shiar, you've got leadership by fear, and all this other crazy stuff. But the Romulans are, for the most part, one unified faction, Shinzon aside. But everything that we see is kind of a generalization to say this is the faction. But there's plenty of instances where cards could exist to be in different factions. Worf is the perfect example. He is both Klingon and Federation. We have versions of Worf that fit both, but we don't have a Klingon Captain Worf. Scratch that, we don't have a Federation Captain Worf. And we should, because he commanded the Defiant. Yet we have Captain Kira, and I don't think we have a Federation Captain Dax. We should, but they spent time commanding the Defiant, and that represents something. I'm fine with Kira. I have no qualms about Kira being a captain. If anything, a Bajoran captain, that's fine. But Worf deserves his seat in the captain's table, at the captain's table, as much as, well, Jeremiah Hayes, the third in command, fourth in command of Enterprise. T'Pol deserves a captain too, more than Hayes. But we don't get that. So, there's some precedent, but it's neither here nor there. The point is, I want my what ifs. I want my mixing. I want to be able to say, this is what could be. See, Star Trek's already a made up universe. The boundaries of a faction are arbitrary. The fact that they made one character, say Seska, Kazon, instead of Federation, arbitrary choice. She was Federation for a time. She was Maquis for a time. She was Bajoran. Cardassian. She could be... There could be a Dominion version, a Bajoran version, an independent version, a Federation version, and a Kazon version. We could have 5 versions of Seska. We don't. We have one Kazon. And it's an arbitrary choice. At least if you really like Seska the character, you can put her on any of those factions. Picard was an arbiter of succession into the Klingons. It makes enough sense for him to have a Klingon version. There's infinitely more examples. What I want to get at is I'm not doing anything worse by mixing factions than somebody else is by mixing time periods. Because Janeway going and taking over a Constitution class, or Kirk commanding the Defiant, is as much make-believe as Picard taking over a Vorcha, or Sisko running a Borg sphere. It's all make-believe, and the lines are where you want them to be. I choose to say, the lines are nowhere, and I'm going to have fun with it. And that's why I love my faction mixing. Because I can have my cake and I can eat it too. So, with that, I'm going to take my hate now from all of you. We'll live with it. Right now, the rules are the rules. You can play how you want at your home store, on your kitchen table. I'm not going to tell you any differently. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. My point is, have fun playing. And if you want to play a game against me, we can talk. But when push comes to shove, I'm going to say, I want all the cards on the table. I want to be able to play with anything I want. So, that's that. Thank you guys for listening, for hearing me out, for watching. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.